Welcome to the Art Lady channel. Today I'm going to teach you pretty quickly, hopefully, how to create a cube or a box that is in 1-point perspective. And you can of course turn the box into a building, and I'm going to show you how to make a door on the front, and then we're going to make the same size door in perspective on the side of the building. So that's what I'm going to teach you today. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a cube or a box. And you can use a ruler if you want to, and we're going to put it down toward the bottom of our page here. Or you can just freehand draw the cube or box. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do a box here. And I actually prefer this if you're going to do say you're going to sketch out a building with some interesting architectural features. I love the way the lines are not exactly perfectly done with ruler. I think that looks beautiful if you do a line drawing of, say, a Victorian house, or a line drawing of a church, or something of a building that has a lot of interesting lines. I think that's really beautiful, but that's up to you if you want to make your cube or box with a ruler, but this is just a simple, quick explanation of how to do it in perspective. So here we have our cube. Then we're going to decide somewhere in the right side here of our paper, I'm just going to put a dot. And this is where the top of our building or roof or cube will go back, vanish back into the horizon line, and then the sides will appear to be going back to the dot on the horizon line as well. So what I'm going to do is, I like to do my lines in a pencil. That way I can erase them. And instead of doing a pencil for you, I'm going to do it in a blue crayon just so that you can see it a little bit brighter. So I'm going to do the vanishing point lines, and I draw from the corner of the box to the vanishing point. And then I'm going to do this corner to my vanishing point. And you want to line it up pretty straight. And then this corner to the vanishing point. So all three corners going back to the vanishing point, like so. Then we want to determine how big our cube or box is. So we want to decide where the end is going to be. Now, if you have it up here, this is about a square or a cube. But if it's way back here, then it would be more of a rectangular box. So for this practice lesson, I'm going to just have you take your ruler and line it up with the top line here, and then you're going to connect just from where the vanishing lines go back to the vanishing point. Just connect line to line, like so. And if you measure, you want this line to be parallel with the top of the cube. And that's why when students are first learning, I just have them trace the thickness of the ruler. If you place your ruler on this side line here, and then you want to connect it to the line here, and just drop down straight. So this is the back of our square. This is the front of our square, and this is the back of the square. And then you can just connect these lines right here. This would then become this just vanishes out, and this is erased. These are invisible lines. And then I connect here, and I connect here, and that is my square that is in perspective, in a 1-point perspective. Now, if you're going to add a door to this, say that you'll end up building up taller and make a building, or adding roofs or whatnot. If you're going to turn this into a building and you add a door, I'm just going to show you how you would line up the side doors. What I do is I come to the edge where this door is, because one door in a building is going to be the same height. Okay? How tall it is going to be the same on the side. But because it is in perspective, we look at a different view. This is much farther away than here. It's going to appear smaller. So I'm going to take my door, the top of the door, and I'm coming right over to the edge of my page, or the edge of the square, and I'm just going to put a dot right there, because that's where I'm going to line up my ruler. So this is the height of the door, and this is the height of the door on the side of the building, so therefore it's going to be the same on this side, but yet it'll go back into perspective. So then I take the vanishing point and I line up my ruler from the vanishing point to the height of the door, and then I just go ahead and trace a small line here, and then this is dropped down vertically. So I keep it parallel to this line, and I'm just going to drop down my door and drop it down here, just like so. And that is a door that's in perspective on the side of the building. So if you practice this several times, then you can go on to another more difficult lesson. You can do city streets. Now, if you're going to have another building on this side or another box on this side, wherever you put your box, it doesn't necessarily have to be all on one side. Wherever you're putting your cube or box, the corners always go back to this dot, if that's 1 point perspective, if that's what you're trying to do. So if I make another box over here, say this is the second side of my street. So this is the side of a building here. The roofs would go back to perspective, and the side of the building here would go back to the same dot. So you can do the whole process again. Let me just blow this up a little so you can see how I'm going to do this. And I'm just going to do this quicker as a review. So no matter where you put your box, it all goes to this 1 point, since we're making a 1 point perspective right there. And then you would do your building. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller here, not as big. This one's farther away, so the building's going to be, here's the end of the box. This drops down parallel to this line, and then my top of the box goes this way. So here's a box over here in perspective. Just remember it goes back to this point. So if you want to fill this up with boxes, and then you can turn it into something else, that's a great way to practice. Let's see. So there it is here. So if you're going to end up with a street, there you go. And the center line, if you're going to do a street, that would come down here. Well, actually, it would be the middle of the street, so I would divide from side to side. I want to divide it in half if you really want to. So this is our guideline. The halfway would be about here. So my center of my street would be right here. But of course, if you're going to make it a street, you'd have a sidewalk and whatnot on the edge here. So you need to leave room for a sidewalk on both sides. But have fun practicing. Go ahead and practice these squares back into perspective, and then you can go on to a more advanced perspective video.